to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Sweet. Awesome. You love to see it. I hope my cousin is able to get more tickets and we can go back to Nationwide at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
There is some funny that my first game this season will be in Buffalo rather than in Columbus.
That is kind of fun though, isn't it? Go back to some old stomping grounds.
Maybe my second game will be in Jersey.
Come on now. You gotta come on.
My third game will make a trip up to Pittsburgh.
Dude.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to. We never win there.
We hope y'all enjoyed our last show with the Hockey 101 stuff. Please continue liking, sharing that one.
Yeah, I think that we were able to maybe make things a little bit clearer.
I just thought it was a fun idea to like do that, three
I think
3 years in and just bring in more of the the basics to the game and grow the game ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Right? This one's a little bit more standard fare, but this is probably going to be like we do every year when it's around this time. We do a show right before the holidays. We take a little bit of time off, and then we come back around the new year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to have some fun and talk about some ups, some downs, some good stuff, some bad stuff, and some league stuff.
Sounds good to me.
But the first thing we got to do, like we usually do, is give out our Kepis, give out our kudos, and y'all got to bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook.
I agree.
So taking a look at Wednesday, because this is probably going to drop on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go any further than Wednesday, so that's cool, DraftKings. We love DraftKings, don't get me wrong, but like the fact that they only go like a day in advance.
Yeah.
From when we record things is kind of
right.
Doesn't help the disconnect of time there, does it?
No, I got some bets that are going on right now through DraftKings that are still open. But it's funny enough for a big hockey guy, most of my bets are just European football.
I know you've got a lot of your soccer bets going on, don't you?
That's actually what I'm best at betting on.
Hockey's a weird one to bet on, but it's really, really fun. So looking at the money lines for the Wednesday games, because the NHL schedule is so brilliant that they put only 3 games on a Wednesday and then 12 on the day after.
They just know what the people want. If anybody knows, it's the NHL. So
I put this up on my Instagram story where it just listed how many games there are for the given days this week. And it's like, y'all realize that having everybody play and then nobody play is really hurting people setting their fantasy lineups, right?
What are you even talking about, Jacob?
It's brilliant for fantasy lineups. Come on, you have all your players playing or you have nobody playing. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's never made more sense.
Looking at the actual money lines for Wednesday, though, we got the Caps and the Islanders. That's going to be a nice, old, slow Metro matchup.
I'll just say it. I'm not watching that game.
Who would? Other than maybe Jess and some of our Isles friends.
Caps fan would probably watch it.
Shout-outs to Jess. Shout-outs to Scoops. We love you guys. They have the odds set at a plus 105 for the Isles and a minus 125 for the Old Men in DC.
Do you know what I would bet on this game? The under.
Maybe it's hard to even put your money on an OV goal.
Good. I wouldn't even do that anymore.
That's really that's the
Until he
sad.
regains form mid-season and people remember that he's Alex Ovechkin. It's gonna happen. It's gonna take. He's got to adjust.
I mean, age is finally catching up to the guy, isn't it?
It is. It's finally catching up to him, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Hopefully, he's at 827 for his career, and he's still got a bit of a climb to go.
Yeah. Like I said,
But yeah, you could probably bet a decent amount on like at least Barzal or even Bo Horvat because Horvat is starting to get a scoring touch back.
perhaps. I don't know if I would bet on anybody to score in that game.
That's gonna be. I mean, it's like Darcy's fine. Charlie's okay. Charlie's actually been playing pretty well, and Ilya Sorokin is Ilya Sorokin. So, looking at
Varlamov, former Capital.
former Capital, it could be Varley. Going to the next one is the Red Wings and the Winnipeg Jets. Hammer the over on the Jets on that one.
Hammer the over just in general. Two fun teams that like to score a lot of goals. Even with Connor Hellebuck in that game, you can expect some goals to be scored.
I don't know, man. The Wings, ever since they signed Patty Kane, they are 1-5-1, and
Yeah,
Kane
not
hasn't
good, but
been.
they are still scoring goals though. They
Cat is.
Yeah, because Cat's unbelievable.
DeBrincat is. The Jets are the favorites at a minus 162, and Detroit is set on a money line of minus plus 136.
Yeah, I bet on the Jets to win that game. Jets look pretty good this season. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Even
impressed.
with Kyle Connor out, as long as he's going to be out,
Yeah,
they still have plenty of firepower with Shifley and Ehlers and Morrissey and all those guys. They'll be fine.
they score goals. That's what the Jets do. That's what they've done the last several years. That's how they're built. They're built to put the puck in the net.
Yeah,
Not the greatest defensively, but you know they did what they're supposed to do.
they'll pot a few. And then the last game of the night, a fun Pacific matchup between the Seattle Kraken and the LA Kings.
Fun is a word, I suppose. I don't think it's going to be a lot of fun for the Kraken. I think the Kings are probably going to beat the brakes off of them.
Are the Kings on the road? That's the question.
Kings are at home.
Kings are at home. Okay, that's still more or less a toss up
Nah.
because the Kings may have a
Yeah.
great it's not their road record.
Yeah.
Their road record being
But
out of
still,
this world.
it's a mismatch in my opinion.
I mean, the money line will say just as much. Kraken are a plus 142, while the Kings are a minus 170.
I should have made it minus 169.
That would have been pretty nice, wouldn't it?
I agree.
And you can get in on it all yourself. All you got to do is download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. And big breath in. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved. There we go.
Alrighty.
Ad read is done. We're going into our little Kepi shoutouts. I want you to go first because mine's going to depend on who you pick. I have a few guys in mind, but
yeah, I get where you're coming from because I think we have the same two guys in mind.
I've got a handful.
I've got two guys in mind, and I'm fairly certain if I pick the guy I'm going to pick right now, you're going to pick the other guy I had in mind. I'm going to go with Yegor Chinikov. The Jaeger Bombs got goals in 4 straight games, 5 goals over those last 4 games. He's been absolutely on fire. What has he done in this game so far? Nothing on a score sheet for him so far, but
Kids earned. I feel like we talked about this with
he's
Chinny
playing
before.
he's playing his best puck since that report came out that he was unhappy.
Right.
Be looking for a change of scenery. And I saw a tweet the other day that really made me laugh was someone was talking about Pascal Vincent, and we'll get into him in a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I said the best line for the Blue Jackets, can't understand the coach.
I mean,
That's fine. I thought it was funny. I mean, I did. I thought it was really funny.
the Russian kids as a whole unit
Yeah,
have
we've
been.
given our flowers, and rightfully so, obviously to Kirill Marchenko, and then a ton to Dmitry Voronkov. But
Yeah.
and those two have been phenomenal, and
Oh
that's been
yeah, Chinny like
and we're finally seeing Chinikov kind of catch up with them a little bit,
yeah.
and it's a cohesive unit now that there is. I know you bring out the line blender and stuff like that. There is literally no reason to ever break up that line.
It's
Unless there's
been.
injury, there's no excuse to break that lineup ever.
I know that yours is going to Yegor specifically, but I do, and mine's gonna go to somebody different. But I do want to give a little bit more of a shout out to Vrani
Yeah, he's
because
unbelievable.
Dimitri playing center
Yeah, it is. He
on
is
that.
so much better than we thought he was going to be.
Yeah,
He really is. I did not think that he was going to be a potential top 6 option for this team. I just didn't. I thought his play style was going to be. I thought he was going to be a fun, big, physical presence in the bottom 6 that was going to be a fan favorite that would have a little bit of a scoring touch to him. I didn't
hmm
think it was going to be a legit top 6 option for us. And he is.
he's a big guy, and like think about where he was drafted, and it's like, okay, maybe he can turn into a decent third liner. No,
No, no,
this kid is
he's
unreal.
that is a legitimate core piece right there. Also,
Speaking of the Russians, there's Kirill again.
4
Second
1.
in the game already.
4-1. I will head to DraftKings to put a bet on the Sabres to come back and win this.
Yeah. We're outshooting them 19-7 now. We're almost halfway through the second.
Wait until you see the third period.
Yeah, and we'll talk about a third period soon.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is actually you know what? Because I was debating number 11, and we need to give more shout outs to Adam Fantilli because he's Adam Fantilli and he's a Columbus Blue Jacket. And what the hell?
Interesting.
Right? I was going to go with Adam as one of my choices, but I think I'm going to go with the guy that.
Oh, it's 5-1.
Is it?
Yeah, I was about to. I was legitimately about to put a place to place a bet on the Steelers to come back because they've been blowing leads, and then the odds changed, and I'm like plus 1,600. What happened now?
Wait a minute. But my Kepi's actually going to go to the Port Moody kid. It's going to go to KJ.
Yep, I knew it. Told you.
Wow, you actually did know it, huh?
It was between Kent Johnson and Yegor Chinikov. He was really good in the Toronto game.
As much as I really, really wanted to give it to Adam for just how unbelievable he's turning out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, because like we kind of expected that being a third overall pick and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, KJ having
Marchenko, hat trick.
Yes. Oh, you love to see it.
Incredible.
Oh, the Marchenko show rolls on.
Are they gonna blow it though?
We might have to see. Let me actually send a little tweet. Just because the Marchenko goat.
Dude, that line's ridiculous. That line is freaking ridiculous, man.
This is crazy. This is nuts. But yeah, mine's gonna go to KJ for the OT winner and all of that fun stuff. His first 3-point game ever since for a while, really, if
Yeah.
ever, right?
It was his first career 3-point game.
And I thought that it was a hat trick at first.
Yeah, he had 2 goals and an assist. So
That's crazy. I should have just given it to Kirill because what kind of Nostradamus shit would that have been?
yeah. Well, Jake, here's a good test for the Blue Jackets today to see how they can hold on to a 4-goal lead, which should be a very, very easy thing to do. But nothing's easy with this team. Do you just want to get into Toronto right now?
Because even a 5-goal lead is difficult. Apparently.
You know,
Apparently.
so I went to the Bears Browns game.
Yes, and you had fun and also didn't.
I had fun for 3.5 quarters. I had fun. And my buddy Bryant, who's one of my best friends,
Yeah.
you know, all we do is talk sports. He's such a nut. He's the one working in Rochester right now.
Gotcha.
He asked me, "When did you know?"
When did you know? Yeah. Yeah.
I said,
like we've
with about 6 or 7 minutes left, when they just continually did not move the ball after getting stop after stop after stop. I was like, all it takes is just one play and it's done.
yeah.
And
That
my
was
question to you, Jake, is when did you know?
when did I know?
Because I'll tell you when I knew.
I knew when it was about 5-2.
I hate that because that's my answer.
5-1, I was like, okay.
I
Okay.
hate that you can be up 5 goals
Yeah.
and a team can cut it to a 3-goal deficit and you're just like, that's it. Good Lord.
It had to be against the Leafs, though, didn't it?
I had a comment on an Instagram post that got a shit ton of likes. I was like, it was right after that game. I think it was NHL discussion post.
Yeah.
I just put like, this was both somehow the most Blue Jackets and Leafs game of all time in one.
It's weird, right? Because like
You
this
couldn't
is
have-
usually
you
a
couldn't have
Leafs thing.
scripted a better. You couldn't have scripted a more Leafs game, and you couldn't have scripted a more 2023 Columbus Blue Jackets game than this one.
Man.
And you know, I know they're winning right now, but I did laugh at a tweet I saw earlier. I don't know who tweeted it. It was like some random like troll account, but
Some burner out there.
so they scratched David Yurchek tonight. I'm
Yes.
curious if that's a maintenance day scratch or if there's something else there. That's
Here's
a big question. But I saw a tweet. Someone responded to like it was Portsy tweeted that he was a healthy scratch, and someone just responded, "Fire Larson."
Fire Larson. So what I want to do, right? Like, because Toronto is a weird, like, central theme to this.
Yeah, like I kind of want to talk about the game, but I kind of don't because the game is more so a microcosm of everything, and that I think
Yes.
is really the point we're trying to make here.
Yeah.
We don't actually.
I'm just glad they won it.
I'm not.
But at the same time, like, I'm happy they won it, but at the same time, it's like they didn't deserve that.
You know, our guy that you and I love, who our inspiration, Steve Dangle, talks about this all the time.
Yeah.
Winning games like that is bad
Yeah.
because you learn bad habits.
Exactly.
What lessons did the Blue Jackets learn from that game? They came off of that game and said, well, you know, at the end of the day, we did get the win, trying to look at the positives. And I don't blame the players for saying that. What did they do the next game? They got the doors beaten off of them by the Devils.
They got shelled. Just Wow. And this is
Congratulations, boys. Way to really step up for your young goalie making his first start of the season coming off of injury. He's waited a long time to get back on the ice. Way to step up and play well in front of him and give him a shot.
yeah, thanks for the confidence boost for Terry there, boys. That's really yeah, that's gonna
Like
help
guys,
him in the long run.
what bothers me about this recent stretch for the Blue Jackets is you are seeing and I think I saw some polls people have been putting up like Union and Blue posted a poll. It was like, do you blame Elvis on the season? And over 90% of people said no, which thank God people in this fan base have a brain. But like, it's not even just an Elvis thing. Look at the performances they're putting in front of all of these goalies, whether it be Spencer Martin, Elvis Merzlikins, Daniil Tarasov, or even Jet Greaves. And I
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
people
I
are,
felt bad for Jet in the second game. I felt really bad for Jet in the second game.
it's ridiculous. They're giving these guys no help. None.
No, and here's where
It's
that
like forget about just defensive structures for a second, because we
yeah,
what they are.
personnel's a big part of that
Not
too.
how are you not getting your players up for these games? It's not like the old days where the Blue Jackets might allow shots against teams under John
But they
Tortorella.
still
They're shots from the outside, low danger opportunities. They're clear
mm-hmm.
rebounds. They're making sure that their goalies can see the puck. You know, it's not like that. Teams are just firing at will against our guys, and it's just, hey,
everywhere. And it's
we
going in
made the high
everywhere.
danger save. That's what it comes down to. And fortunately for us, we're better than we should be, which is crazy to think about. We're better
Elvis
than we should be because our goalies this season, Elvis and Jet, although Jet was limited time, unbelievably good. Both, I think, in the top 5 of goalies this season in terms of high danger percentage, save percentage.
Elvis had a 913 in the month of November, guys.
That's stupid.
He was good. He was really good.
I know 913, you hear that, you're like, that's solid, pretty good. You'll take that all day.
Yeah.
Dude, 913 sounds like a fucking brick wall when you look at this team and how they're structured.
Yeah.
How
So
they
here's what I want to bring
when I
up.
hear 913 in my head, that sounds like 953.
Yeah, that sounds like
That's how I read it.
that's brilliance with the defensive core that we have going on.
And that's the thing. I don't think the defensive core is that bad.
No, it's not, but there's gripes that we have, and I'm gonna
It,
get to some of these
it's all play
because
style.
here's the big thing for me, right? Because this whole idea, and we're gonna go on tangents throughout this because I wanted to compare and contrast
It's going
where
to
we
be.
are
Let's get into this right now because I think it ties into everything.
where
Comparing
we
this,
are this year at this point versus where we were at this point last year.
yeah.
The we have 3 injuries right now that are all 6-week timelines.
Yeah. Boone,
Damon Damon Severson, Boone Jenner, Patrick Laine.
yeah,
You got 2 guys, one that is an offensive dynamo
mm-hmm.
that's starting to round out his overall game in Patty.
And Boone Jenner.
You have Boone Jenner, who is way more brilliant offensively than anybody ever expected, especially over the last couple of years. Right?
He is like the only player on the Blue Jackets who has actually legitimately benefited since Torts left.
Is it safe to say that he's been the only one that gives a damn?
No, it's not fair to say that. We talked earlier about the Russian line. Those guys care.
That's fair. Yeah, and Adam cares, and
Adam cares. KJ obviously cares.
yeah.
Cole cares. I don't think. Let me tell you, Jake. I don't think care is an issue with this team. I really don't. That's not what I'm getting at. I don't really look at individuals and say these guys aren't interested. I just think they're kind of a mess.
Is it safe to say that the D core fell apart when Damon went down?
He has been so much more important than I thought he was going to be, and I thought he was going to be important, but I think that is fair. I mean, the defensive structure is still what the defensive structure is, and it's a big issue, but it's been such a drastic fall off defensively because, as I said, arguably since Damon went down, your best defensive pair has arguably been Yurchek and Provorov, and they don't want to break those two up.
Oh, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Pascal Vincent has done anything in his power, whether that be showcasing guys for trade or healthy scratches for the sake of just giving a rest day, to keep those two apart. You know that 9 and 55 works.
Yeah.
That's one of your best pairs, if not the best pair that you've had all year. And you're keeping them apart for no reason.
Got hurt. Because when Severson was healthy, I'd argue that 8 and 78.
Yeah.
Still hate that he's 178.
But ever since, glue Provorov and Yurchek together.
There's one line and one pair you keep together for every game, and everything else you pull out the blender for. You keep the Russian line together. You keep Provorov and Yurchek together. It's incredible to me because they've just, ever since Siva went down, they're suffering the issues that they've suffered these last 2 years. Before last year, they suffered this issue before he got hurt, and the year before that, they had that issue too. It's funny, like we're talking about that Toronto game. Isn't it amazing how the Blue Jackets, ever since trading away Seth Jones, are kind of going through some Morgan Riley syndrome where they simply cannot find Zach Werenski a partner?
Yeah.
The only they found since is Severson, and I think
oh my god, the extra point is good.
But oh wow, okay. Let's see, 5-goal lead.
Curls.
What do you say?
Curls.
Okay, good for him.
I don't know who got number 6, but Curls got number 7.
Oh, okay. Anyways, what was this? Oh, so Severson works with Werenski, but since Sivo went down, they can't find anybody else to work with him.
No, and I mean so what they do is they call up blanks and they call David back up.
Yeah.
I like Nick Blankenberg.
I like blanks too. He does not work on the top pair with Werenski.
No.
You're asking too much of the kid.
I want to bring a quote up.
You are really asking him to punch above his weight. I don't like that.
So
I understand you want to mix things up, and I do like this player a lot, and he was phenomenal this season.
Kid.
But he's not putting his players in positions to succeed. That much is clear.
Yeah. You mentioned Union and Blue earlier.
Yes.
Tweet from them earlier tonight. A little over an hour ago. If they're really showcasing Peak and Bean, that last shift is proof that they probably should have kept them out and hidden their value. Let me tell you something, Jay.
You know what bothers me? Like I said it before the season, I would keep Bean because he only had 1 year left on his deal. His value wasn't going to be super high. You'd kind of just sell him for pennies on the dollar. So you might as well just keep him and see what you got.
He's young enough.
But Peak, you could have dealt in the off season for, I think, a pretty decent return.
Could have got at least a couple okay mid-round picks, maybe.
I feel like you probably could have gotten a second.
Really think so?
He's young. He's a right-hand shot defenseman, and he's pretty cheap.
Because the defensive pairs in Buffalo tonight are Werenski and Blankenberg, Provorov with Peak
Mm-hmm.
and Bean with Goody again.
Yeah. Can I tell you something about Eric Goodbranson?
Is it something I already know?
No, I'm gonna compliment the guy.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a compliment sandwich. He's shit, but okay. No, like, is he worth the money? No.
No,
Do I like the term? No.
no.
Do I think he fits the play style? No. Uh,
Is this a triple decker sandwich? What are you doing?
I'm just stacking it up. We're going to the melt. We're piling it on. No, I like the guy as a person. I've heard
Yeah,
nothing but great things about him as a guy, as a person, and a
great with
leader.
the community efforts so far. Yeah.
I think he's good in the locker room.
Hmm.
And we talk about caring. I don't think there's many guys on this team that cares more than he does.
After we talked about the Cousins thing, hell
The
no.
Cousins thing, standing up for himself, standing up for teammates. The things I expected from Eric Goodbranson. No, keep that in perspective. The things
Yeah.
I expected from Eric Goodbranson, he has more than held up his end of the bargain.
Hmm.
The problem with Eric Goodbranson is he has not held up his end of what they expect. And my issue is they expect too much of him.
He can't. He just can't.
And it comes down to, once again, what I said. How do you utilize your guys? You have to put them in positions to succeed. And I don't think you are putting Bean in the best position to succeed, putting him with good Branson, and I don't think you're putting good Branson in the best position to succeed by putting him with Bean.
I just don't have any other choice. Like we already saw what like even I don't think that's the best position even for Yurchek to be playing with Goody.
No, it's definitely not.
Because we
I'm
already know that it's with Provorov.
generally against two right-hand shot defensemen.
Yeah,
Like,
on the same pair. Yeah.
it's always funky. It works better, I think, with two lefties than it does two righties.
Yeah.
Um, we see that, we talk about TJ Brody,
Yeah, Mo and TJ. Yeah.
but you know, I saw the poll that Union and Blue did the other day, and the fourth best prospect they put in the Blue Jackets. I disagreed with it. I think they ranked some of the guys a little too high. Not them, people who were being polled.
Yeah.
Um, you know who I'd like to see with Garrett Goodbranson?
Hmm.
Stan Svozil.
Ooh.
Why not?
Why not?
What's stopping?
Why not? Yeah, we're gonna bring back even the old SDP bit. Like, yeah.
That was pretty good. No, seriously, why not? Like what's stopping you from giving that a go? If you want to give Jiricek a night off,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the case. I hope it's just a maintenance day. Because if they're benching him for performance, fire Pascal tomorrow.
I
Not even joking. I'm not even
Well,
joking.
it's like what I said with the earlier tweet, right? Is this like a value showcase for Peak and Bean? Like what?
I don't know. All I know is the one good thing about sucking is that you get to try things
Yeah.
that other teams might not be able to try.
Experiment time, right?
Experiment. I don't think Stan Svozil with Eric Goodbranson would be a bad experiment. You put those two on the third pair. I actually think that they could work pretty decently together. Or who knows? Maybe it's a disaster. But you at least try it. You figure it out. You see, that's the thing about experimenting. Sometimes you like what you see, but you know what you do? You change it up.
It's just who would have thought that this Damon injury would like just make that decor fall apart as much as it did?
He's a valuable player. That's the only good thing about the Damon Severson injury is I think people are finally starting to see, like, yes, I know that Damon Severson was driving some people nuts with the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, you're just going to have to live with that.
Live with that. Yeah.
Just a part of his game. The only good thing I think we're seeing from this Damon Severson injury is at least fans are recognizing, like, oh, he's actually pretty valuable.
He's important.
He's actually pretty damn important and pretty damn good. Because things slide when he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but more than anything, again, Jake, it's structure. That's an issue with this team.
And that's definitely
it shows that they can boat race any team on any given moment. They can go up 5-0 on the Leafs after 2 periods. They can go up 7-1 on the Sabres in the second period, and it still doesn't matter. But you know what? I don't have the stat on me right now. Did you
they've
see?
had such an issue parking the bus.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Just parking a bus.
Parking the bus. The bus is flipping over.
Oh, dude, the bus is on Monster Jam fire.
What's the one movie? I think it's Speed, where the bus can't go below like 45 miles or else the bomb detonates. Is that
I don't know if that's the movie, but
I know I've seen it once. It was a long time ago. I don't remember what it was called, but that's what I think about. This is that movie. We can't let this bus go below this speed limit, or else this bomb's gonna go off. That's this team defensively right now.
But okay, comparing to last season though, because they've performed worse.
Given expectation. Real quick, what I wanted to say, and this game is related to it.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jackets currently have a positive goal differential in the first period and second period this season.
Yes, and their third.
And their third
is abysmal.
It's almost a negative 30 goal differential in the third period.
It's like negative 27. Yeah, it's really bad.
It's somewhere between 25 and 30. I know that.
It's like 27, 28, somewhere in there.
So bad.
It's awful.
So bad.
It's god awful.
They would be a pretty average team if hockey games were just 40 minutes.
40 minutes, yeah.
And what's funny is average, like I think they're basically like +5 and +5 in the first and second period. It's nothing crazy as far as their goal differential in the first and second, but it's incredible how the way they perform in the first 40 minutes is kind of how we expected them to hopefully be this season. We wanted them to be an average team.
Do any of these fuckers know how to defend a third period lead?
No. Okay. Cool.
For those of you that don't, do you want to tell that story?
Yeah,
from the end of the last
can't. So I forgot that Jake I think you should leave. So I had to show him the Ghost Tour skit that they did, and it's one of my favorite skits of all time. So I showed it to him after we recorded the last episode, and he was in tears because many of these fuckers know how to park the goddamn bus.
Oh my god!
Anyways, let's go to last season, compare it to this season.
Pascal, we know from Pascal being on Lars's staff last year,
might have picked up some habits.
He took in some bad habits.
Okay, look, I advocated for Pascal in the off season. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't. He was in my top 3 coaches that were for them to have hired. Although Barbecue Bruce was my number 1.
Bruce was always number 1.
Bruce would have been a great hire, but I did say, in theory, when we were discussing the idea of hiring Pascal Vincent, is the
Mhm.
one thing that might be a concern is that he was on the coaching staff these previous 2 years under Brad Larson. He was a part of the losing.
7-2 at the end of 2.
Oh God.
Yeah, here we go again, right?
Here we go again. um I think it might actually have been a bigger issue than we thought it might be at the time. Here's the thing I'll say about Pascal Vincent.
Hmm.
Still like him as a person, as a dude.
Looks damn good for 52.
I think he's in over his head. I think it's as simple as that. I think Brad Larson and Pascal Vincent are simply just in over their heads. And I know I said that I didn't want to make this determination until about 40, 50 games in. I think we've seen enough. Like we're close enough to that point. I think we've seen enough to know that the reason I'm willing to make the determination on him this early
Mhm.
is because of how similar these issues look to the past 2 years.
Think about the line combinations that we're trying to still make work.
Yeah.
Think
Although
about like who do we play Johnny with? Who do we play Patrick with?
that's a big thing for me, Jake, is the one thing I really thought was not going to be an issue this year with Pascal Vincent that I was looking forward to is I really thought he was going to fully and completely unlock Patrick Laine. And granted, Laine's had injuries that
Hmm.
plays a factor. It absolutely does. But when he's been on the ice, I don't say when he's been healthy because I don't even know if he actually has been healthy. But when he's been on the ice, they don't know what to do with him. And
No.
that's why I said the other day when I was texting you, I said I think I'm kind of done with the Patrick Laine experiment. And that statement has nothing to do with Patrick Laine as a player. I know he's tried to round out his game. I see the effort. I appreciate it. I think he's hella talented. I
And we
love his
know he wants to be
personality.
here.
I know he wants to be here. He dresses well. He's in the community. He donates money. He's a great, great guy, a good teammate, especially to Adam Fantilli. I love so much about Patrick Laine.
Hmm.
Don't I don't love how he fits here. I don't think he does fit here. And that's a very expensive puzzle piece that you don't know how to fit.
Man, it's hard because what did we say when we got Johnny?
The whole point of getting Johnny, and it's not just us, that's what everybody thought was, oh wow, Patty and Johnny together are
Yeah,
gonna,
it's gonna be lights out.
and it doesn't work. And we said, okay, that's not the worst thing. You can split those two, and you can have Johnny on one line, Patrick on another line, and maybe that's cool.
And that'd be a dual threat, and that'd be fun.
And that doesn't work either because we have this Russian line that's incredible. So
Yeah.
that's our second line. So if Johnny's gonna be on line one, and in theory you're gonna put either Boone Jenner there or Adam Fantilli there, and in the future it's gonna be Adam Fantilli is gonna be first line center for a long time.
Yeah.
Uh that mean you put Patrick Laine on your third line?
Because, like, do you. Because here's what the problem is currently, right? As well as Justin Danforth is playing, he's not a first line player.
No, I love Justin Danforth.
Love Danny to death, right?
And part of why I like him is because he fits literally everywhere you put him.
Yeah, he's a plug and play guy.
It's the greatest glove this team has, where you can just
Like a glove. Yeah.
he just fits. It's awesome. But I don't want him to I like that in a pinch we could use him on the first line. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I like that in a pinch we could probably use him on the second line or the third line, or the fourth line. I like that we could basically play him anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if we put him on the third pair and he fit. I mean, that is the player he is. I love Justin Danforth, but he's not someone you're committing to long term
You're
to
not.
play on the first line. He's just not a first line player.
No.
He's a plug and play kind of guy who's awesome for your lineup, but that can't be a solution for you. And the
So
fact that he fits better with Johnny Gaudreau on line one is incredibly concerning when you look at Patrick Laine.
yeah.
And you think about what you could get for Patrick. And the other thing, like, I know it's not his fault. Injuries play a factor too.
Yes.
He doesn't want to get hurt. I know that. He's not trying to get hurt. Freak things are happening. He gets nailed by Rasmus Anderson up high. He can't do anything about that. It's a cheap, dirty hit. And then you got the what was it, the slew foot, I think. That
clavicle fracture.
clavicle
That
fracture.
just sounds like coming out of my mouth. That sounds painful.
Either, but luck plays a part in sports. It plays a part in injuries, and this guy does not have very good injury luck.
What did Damon have? Do you remember what Damon's original injury was?
I actually don't.
It was, I mean, it was bad enough that it's sidelining him for 6 weeks. So it's gotta be something wild, right? While you're oblique? Ooh, yeah. Skating.
What? But and that's not a concern for me because that's the first injury Damon Severson's had in
quite some time.
I mean, the guy just doesn't miss games, so that also.
So here's the problem, though.
That's why I would trade Patrick Laine. It's an expensive problem you've got.
This is the thing, right? And this comes back to the 3 big injuries, the 3 long-term injuries right now, right? Damon's out with an oblique. Boone fractured his jaw. Ouch. And Patrick, his clavicle. Just saying the words oblique, clavicle.
Oblique and clavicle, that's just, yeah.
Just like, you know?
Yeah.
So, who knows? Is it going to be Johnny KJ? Right?
Yeah. I was thinking, like, you put Johnny with Adam and KJ.
Yeah.
Extremely skilled line, but it's also a very small line.
And I mean, you don't.
Vantilli's got a little bit of size to him.
He's got enough meat to him. And Johnny can hold his own for as small as he is.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see KJ, who looks up to Johnny, play with Johnny.
Yeah, and then you keep the Russians together.
Keep the Russians together.
Like
I said, I'd like to see Danforth with Corrali.
Danny and Corrali is fun, and you know that Olivier can slot in there. You know Tex can fit there.
Yeah, when Tex is healthy, he can slide in there.
That's a big disappointment in what's going on with Tex this year, especially with how happy he was to be back.
Again, what's the problem with Tex in your opinion?
It's not a problem with Texier. It's just where can you fit him?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And the same with Rosie. Rosie played some of the best hockey of his career right up until he got hurt.
Yeah, we haven't included him enough when talking about injuries and how they've affected this team. Losing him has hurt them in spots. Yeah, no, again, when we talk about a lot of these players, Jake, a lot of our criticisms have not been necessarily with the players, but utilization. How are they using you? Who are they playing you with? What situations are they putting you in? And that's why I say I think Pascal Vincent's a nice guy.
It's not the individual personnel; it's just the overall fit.
I think these players respect him. I think they like him. I have no doubt that he's probably a very good assistant coach, but I think he's in over his head a little bit. And the reason I'm willing to be so soft on him is because, again, this is one of the toughest jobs in the NHL because he had to come in to this season as an assistant. He wasn't supposed to be the head coach.
It goes back to the entire Babs thing.
It does. That's why I'm not going to get off of the train of firing Yarmo and JD. I'm just not.
And here's the problem with that is, we talked about John McConnell and
Priest.
We talked about them, watching a practice. And
Yeah.
it's bad when you have those higher ups watching your practice.
Yeah.
But they're still not doing anything. They haven't, really given an inch to the front office. And I don't know if you can right now.
I think, and again, I'm generally against the idea of firing GMs and presidents mid-season in hopes of turning things around on the ice because I don't think that works. This isn't the case. This is firing them to ensure that you take away any power they have to do any further damage to your team. Did you see the report the other day that came out from Bruce Garriock that the Blue Jackets are listening to offers on quote unquote just about anybody?
I did see that. And as much.
How does that make you feel knowing that Yarmo still has the power to make any trade he wants to make right now?
Well, for one thing, it's Bruce Garriock, and I take pretty much anything Garriock says with a grain of salt at this point in his career.
Yeah, fair. I'll give you that. But in this case, does this report sound unreasonable or beyond believable to you?
No. And at the same time, I would much rather want to hear that from someone like a Michael Russo type.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. But
like, I would want to hear something like that come from a better source.
Yeah, I agree. But again, think about the Babcock thing. It all comes back to the Babcock thing.
Yeah.
Kind of initially thought that same thing about Spin Chicklets.
We did.
I want to hear this from a better source. I get that. But at the same time, I'm not going to dismiss it because of the source. I think that's a lesson that we can learn.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that conflicts that report.
It's not that Bruce is incredible, but at the same time, sometimes he can be a little
his credibility
in his own way.
Is top tier.
Yeah.
And he's also not noted for Columbus reports.
Right.
It's different if it's Aaron Porcelain.
It's different if it's Jeff Svoboda.
Jeff Svoboda, those guys.
Shout out to our boy Jeff.
So let's say that's true. 100% true. How do you feel?
I feel like that's way too much power for one guy.
Give me one word. How do you feel? One singular word.
Monarchy.
Interesting.
Because that's what I think about. I think of like Puppet Master, like bleh. If he's got all this power to look at trading any and everybody.
What emotion do you feel though? Is my question. One word, emotion.
Confusion. I'm just confused.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get by that.
Like, I'm just confused.
Terrified. Terrified is the word I use. My God. Good Lord. So we were talking about Provorov earlier. because obviously Severson's been out. I think Severson's been a good addition, but Ivan Provorov, along with Damon Severson, they were hoping two guys were going to come in, and it was really going to fix the defense.
Anchor things, right?
I don't think Provorov's been bad.
No, he's been playing very well.
Has he been worth the first round pick that we gave up and the second round pick that we gave up?
Both, no.
So you gave up too much for Ivan Provorov.
Maybe give up just the second.
So yeah, if you
arguably just the first.
Exactly.
But the thing is, just one pick
on that trade. I don't dislike Provorov as a player.
No, he's been good,
but he hasn't been worth the billing. And
I would pump the brakes on that with Damon because that was a sign-in trade. So that was a little wonky and different.
I love Damon. I'm all in on him. But then again, like I don't really consider the third round pick much of anything because it's a sign and trade, so the value is kind of skewed.
Yeah.
I think it's very
sign and trade.
I think it's very easy to live up to the third round pick. The more important thing is, do you live up to the 8 year
contract
6.25 that you sign him for?
Yeah.
I do think when he was healthy, he was, and now that he isn't healthy, you're seeing that the value of him missing definitely equals 6.25. But you bring those two guys in with the intentions of fixing your defense, and your defense isn't fixed. Now, I don't think your defense is necessarily a problem on paper in terms of talent, but
no.
How do you fix it?
Execution.
But you're not going to execute under this coach. So how do you fix it?
Dude, fuck if I know. I just talk about the tape.
The answer is you find a new coach.
Well, it's coincidentally.
Question. Do you trust Jarmo Kekalainen to hire a new coach?
No. No. I don't trust Jarmo to do that, no.
Do you trust JD to do it?
JD, I would put a little bit more trust.
It's a yes or no question. Do you trust him or not?
Yes.
You and I don't. Really?
Hesitantly, yes.
Really?
JD, yes.
I am shocked by that. I'm not going to lie.
Davidson, yes.
Interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong. I disagree, but I'm curious as to why he has more trust with you in that sense.
It's a weird gut feeling because part of that is like JD's presence in the media.
But what about his presence in the front office?
That's the thing, right?
Because he was a part of the hiring of Brad Larson and the hiring of Mike Babcock and eventually the, I guess, hiring of Pascal Vincent.
Promotion of Pascal Vincent. Here's the thing that I'm going to level with you on.
Yes.
When it comes to JD, right?
Please do level with me.
What is his role?
President.
What is his title?
President.
Of what?
Hockey operations.
A little bit higher up the food chain. He's a little more hands-off than Jarmo is at actually typing up and making the moves and doing all the networking and doing all that kind of thing.
Yes.
Considering he's a little more hands-off with that, I'm willing to give him a little bit more of a pass.
See, I actually disagree. And the reason I do is because he has more of a final say. So with him being a little bit more hands off when it comes to signing off on certain decisions and having a little bit more of a bird's eye view of these things, it's almost more egregious, the decisions they've made. With him being a little bit more hands off, he should have a little bit more in him to say, You know what? Is Brad Larson really the guy? You know what? Is Mike Babcock really worth the risk here?
You have a point, and maybe I'm just thinking of when he was over in New York and dealing with James Dolan of all people.
Yeah, but and I get where you're coming from there, but I don't include that because in my opinion, it's not relevant to what we're dealing with right now because all I care about is what he's doing with us.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Is like
Yeah.
you have your chain of command in the front office
Mhm.
that starts with ownership
Yeah,
and knowing the
and ownership
difference
is as hands off as it gets. So
knowing the difference between how the McConnells run things versus how James Dolan runs things.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
what makes
So
this a weird.
with that being said, since Dolan's more hands on, would it not behoove JD if in your opinion he worked well in New York? Wouldn't it behoove him to be more hands on with Yarmo then? So maybe that's perhaps where he deserves blame.
He's been too laissez-faire.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Because we saw it in the press conference when they fired Mike Babcock. That dude tried to do everything he could to not take blame for the Babcock thing.
Yeah, that was a very
And
strange.
maybe it's because he wasn't as involved
Mhm.
as Yarmo was in that process. I'm sure that is the case, but I would make the argument that you're probably actually more responsible because you were so hands off.
Right, you should
You
have
were so
actually,
hands
yeah.
off. You let this happen.
Yeah.
If you signed off on the guy and you made a mistake, I think the entire fan base would have appreciated it more if he had just owned up to that.
Mhm.
Said we wanted to give a guy a second chance. We were hopeful about this, and this. I signed off on it. It didn't work. We have to move on. Whatever. I'd feel a little better. The fact that he's been so hands off,
Mhm.
he can go as far as I'm concerned too. So I guess my question would then be, if we're going to make that change, in your mind, is it just Yarmo or is it Yarmo and JD? Because in my mind, I think you know that it's both.
If, you know, if JD was a bit more aggressive, then I would probably stick with my standpoint of just let Yarmo go.
Mhm.
Because you bring up such solid points of JD just kind of kicking back.
Yeah. Do any of these fuckers want to do their jobs?
Well, we know Mark Recchi finally does. Because that power play's actually been kind of hot.
Let's see. One power play goal tonight.
Power play goals in at least a power play goal in 3 straight.
Did you ever look to see who scored the sixth goal for us?
No.
It was Erica Branson.
Yes. That's actually really awesome.
That is so funny.
That's good.
Uh, don't look now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look now. First of all, Johnny Gaudreau, 3-point night, goal and 2 assists.
Hey,
Texas got a couple apples.
good for Tex. And by the way, quick shout out to Johnny for 700 points, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Brendan
surprised.
Gaunce.
I'm surprised we didn't do that.
They brought up Brendan Gaunce on an emergency basis, and he's got
Yep.
an assist.
Good on Gonser, eh?
Yeah. Uh, anyway,
Um,
so what was the last question I asked you?
do any of these
It's both. Is it both?
fuckers?
So, have you changed your mind? Is it both in your opinion?
uh, it's hard because like it's way easier in my brain to just replace Jarmo Kekalainen than it is to replace both.
Yeah, and that's a factor. I don't disagree with that. Not to mention JD, I want to say came along the same time as Yarmo. So he really only has been with one GM. So you could at least make the case that he can hire another GM. It's only the
And
second.
try something new.
Try something new. Maybe you can trust this guy who's only worked with one GM before to have a second GM to work with. It's not like part of the reason you don't trust Yarmo to hire another coach is because he's had several kicks of the can and he's whipped the last few times he's tried it. So you don't want to give him that second opportunity. You can't make that case to JD. He's only ever hired Yarmo.
Exactly.
So that's a case.
So like that's part of where my argument is
yeah.
shaping.
Yeah, and I can get behind that. I can.
At the same time, though, when
you
make a valid point of when do they both just become cockroaches?
Yeah.
Right.
And who knows? Who knows? Maybe firing Yarmo, just Yarmo, is enough of a kick in the pants to JD to be more hands-on with whoever the next GM is.
Right.
Maybe. You can make that argument too. Maybe. I'm not look, I would prefer both to go and just completely start fresh. I'm not going to be so hung up if it's just Yarmo who goes. That's not going to be what bothers me. All I need right now is Yarmo's been here a long time. He's given us a lot of good things.
Plenty of good things.
It's time. It's time. It happens in this league. It happens in all sports, but it definitely happens in this league too.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's about time. It's about time. Speaking of changes, and this is gonna get us out of Columbus talk. Because I feel like we've compared enough of this year and last year.
I think so. I think we were the point home.
On paper, they should be so much better.
It's what I said earlier. They should be an average hockey team, and if you look at their splits in the first and second period, their goal differential,
they're fine.
It's a slightly above average hockey team. And I'm not asking for the third period to be identical to the first two, but even if their third period goal differential was like -7, -8,
it was like minus
average. Yeah. That would be an average hockey team right there. That's not that big of a deal. It's a slight concern, but it's not that big of a deal. How egregiously bad they are in the third period, making them as bad as they are, is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
I don't know how you fix that with the current structure in place.
As much as we love Pazzi, who knows? Right?
Yeah, like I said, I don't dislike Pascal Vincent at all. I don't feel any intense emotion against the guy. I think he is a very nice guy. I think he's probably a pretty good assistant coach. I just think he's in over his head.
I think we got a lot of that with the guys that are new and assistant or AHL coaches that came in. Like, look at Huska.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not an easy job, man.
No.
There's a lot of jobs in the National Hockey League, so you kind of got to take them when they come. So I understand why he wanted the Blue Jackets job when it was offered to him. And who knows? Maybe he would do well. Maybe he'd do a lot better as head coach of another team. I think this job is very difficult, but I just know that he's in over his head.
You know who else? You know who else was kind of in over his head?
Who?
DJ Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators fired DJ Smith yesterday, when as of recording this, or a couple of days ago. That's already what, 4? Or is that 3? Somewhere between like 3 and 5.
Smith, Craig Berube,
Evison,
and not happened yet, but look out for Lindy Ruff.
Look out for Lindy.
Look out for Lindy Ruff. It's 7-3. Oh my God.
I know. I saw that earlier. I was like, oh, here we go.
Gage Thompson, I'm getting nightmares.
DJ fired after a fourth straight loss for the Ottawa Senators, and our old buddy Corpy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, Woodcroft.
Oh yeah, Woody. Yeah.
So those are the firings so far. So that's 4 total.
Okay.
So yeah, DJ Smith. You know, and I'm worried about Don Granado potentially too. I think that DJ Smith, like Pascal Vincent, is a pretty good assistant coach.
Yes.
I also think he's pretty good at getting a bad hockey team to fight tooth and nail against better competition and to make them better than what they should be.
They're
But
both coaches that players love in the locker room.
and I think that's the case with Don Granado. I think that there's some coaches who are like that.
7-4.
Aren't
Continue. Yeah.
they're not pulling the shit again.
They fucking better not be.
I think they are.
Oh god.
Anyway, I think there are some coaches who are really good with those young teams. They're not playing
Yeah.
that develop with those teams, but they can't take them over the hump. And I think that's what you're seeing with DJ Smith. As the team has gotten more talent and they're supposed to get better and better and start to now step up and compete and potentially be a playoff team, they just don't make that jump. He's just not that guy. I feel bad for him because I think he's a good dude, and I don't think he's necessarily a bad coach.
Mhm.
I just don't think he is a head coach that will get you to that next level.
Funnily enough, I feel like they have.
He's one of those stopgap coaches, like right before you're supposed to be good.
Funnily enough, I think they do have kind of similar, because they're way worse off than we thought they were going to be this year.
Yeah.
I feel like they have similar structural issues. 8-4. Okay, thank you, silly.
Oh, good for silly. Good for silly.
Good for silly.
I still
That's
don't
that's number 4's fourth of the year.
4 for 4. Let's go to Wendy's, baby.
Never mind. It's only a second. I thought it was his fourth. I was reading Buffalo 4. Anyway,
2 sounds good too.
yeah, it does.
2 for 4. What is that? Like a cheeseburger and a fry?
Hey. um, it's weird with their defensive. Like I like individual players on that defensive core in Ottawa. Thomas Shabbat, I enjoy that. Jake Sanderson, I enjoy that. I wonder if he's going to be worth the payday. Jacob Chikrin,
Artem Zub.
Artem Zub, I love Artem Zub.
So, and he's supposed to be more of a defensive minded coach, but they still have some structural issues defensively. And let's also be straight up, they're not getting saves.
They are not getting saves, no.
So that doesn't help either.
Poor Anton getting just blown up.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
You know what? I think Anton Forsberg's a good kid. I think he got hot at the right time.
Kid, he's 32. Dude, he's way older than you think.
He was drafted in 2011. He was drafted in 2011. I don't know.
He's Boone's age.
He's a nice adult man. I think he got hot at the right time. I think he got. I don't think they didn't go crazy to the bank. I think he got the same exact, like the extension he signed is identical to the deal that Carter Hutton signed with the Sabres after he had that hot streak with the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, small sample size. So we're going to give you a 3-year deal. It's not going to be worth a ton of money, but it might be a big deal for us. But if you don't play well, it's not going to be great.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked out. Corpy hasn't worked out so far.
Let's give Corpy just a bit of a mulligan since this is year 1, but it's a 5-year deal.
It's year 1 of a 5-year deal. You know my thoughts on Corpy. You know him.
Yeah.
I like the guy, but I've said it for years.
Love him, but the numbers just don't.
the numbers are what the numbers are.
It don't add up
I'm
to
not
any.
I'm not trying to rip on the guy.
Oh,
And I understand why you want to give him a little bit of a pass. And I'm not saying that that's invalid, but right now he's got an 892 save percentage, which is kind of on par with what we've seen these last few years outside of that outlier year last year and the outlier 2018-19 season, is it not?
right. And then we look at the forwards like Brady Kachuk.
Fortunately, fortunately, that's not our problem anymore.
Yeah. Brady Kachuk is doing his thing.
Tim Stutzla doing his thing.
So is Stu. So is
So-
Giroux. So is
Like
Bath. Josh Norris being healthy is doing wonders.
Tank is doing his thing. Matthew Joseph has actually been pretty damn good offensively. Jacob Chikrin is providing offensively.
Yeah. Kubalik
Points,
actually is
they're
chipping
putting
in
up
more.
points. These guys are putting up points. They're putting the puck in the net.
They're doing very well, especially without Shane Pinto, which we thought Pinto was going to be like they're individually doing well, and we thought Pinto was going to be a weird hole that they were going to need to fill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean they've kind of filled that. And then you look on the defense, and like I said, Shabbat, Sandy, Chikrin, Zub, brilliant top four, right?
Mhm.
Really, really solid top four. But then you got to remember they've also been playing Bernard Docker up there. They've been playing Brandstrom on the bottom pair with Hamonic. And I mean, say what you will about Hammy, but bottom pair is a bottom pair.
Here's a bottom pair, yeah.
So what did they say? Oh my gosh, who did they hire on an interim basis?
Oh God, it was
Jacques Lemaire or something? No,
Jacques Martin.
Jacques Martin. Yes, because he was hired as like a consultant.
It made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie.
Say Jacques Lemaire. Bring it
No,
back.
just them hiring Jacques Martin.
So he
Weird-
was hired as a consultant.
Weird decision coaches that are out there.
Yeah, but you know what's even more fun than bringing Martin up as an interim coach?
What?
Danny Alfredson, baby.
What'd they do with him?
He's an assistant.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
welcome back,
that's-
Alfie, right?
You know what I was just thinking about
Hmm.
as we had this conversation, because I was just about to bring his name up.
Hmm.
I know it might be unfair to do it this quickly,
Yeah.
but sometimes when a guy is out there and you want him, I think you just go for it.
Yeah.
The Blue Jackets could fire Pascal Vincent today and get Dean Everson.
Yeah. Or the Ottawa Senators can go out and get him.
Because I was thinking, like, why didn't the Senators just do that? And I'm sitting here like, dude, how long is he going to be available? He's available now. He is like, what is the number one issue with the Blue Jackets, Jake? We've been talking about this entire episode. It's defensive structure.
Yeah.
What does Dean Everson fucking specialize in?
Defensive structure.
Good Lord, could you imagine how much better this team would be with that dude as their head coach?
Dude, with what he did with our, always underrated bestie, Jared Spurgeon.
Jared Spurgeon, look at Brock Faber's underlying numbers defensively with the Wild.
Look at Jake Middleton.
Ridiculous. I know the Wild didn't have a good start to the season. Even then, like their defensive structure is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Defensemen were playing well, and they were good last year. Like they've been good the last few years with him. It like now that you've got Nicholas Backstrom working with Elvis Merzlikins, and Elvis is playing better hockey, could you imagine him with a better defense in front of him? That 9-13 in November, that could just be a 9-13 this season.
Right.
I know they're not going to do it. They're not going to pull the trigger.
Sorry, I'm reading game day chats and like people are tagging me like, "Are you happy?" And Robert, shout out Robert Malloy, KJ
9-4.
9-4. Robert was like, "Can the Jackets like chill? My fantasy team's in shambles." I'm like, "No."
Anyways, so this is like the one thing. Like, I know they're not going to make this move early. This is where I wish ownership was more hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
A hands-on owner would 1000% step in and be like, look, it might not be the most fair thing because it hasn't been a long time. Dean Evison's right there.
Look at what Andlauer's doing.
Yeah.
Like, Andlauer is like, okay, we're gonna structure this, right?
Yeah.
And so far, I mean, obviously they just fired DJ, but like, we'll see how this whole structural thing plays out.
Yeah. Anyway.
I got a question for you because
Yeah.
you are our resident goaltending expert.
Sure.
What is up with like all the major serious injuries throughout the league happening to the goalies?
It's rough.
Why is it always the goalies? Like we talk about the term goalie graveyard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually the goalie graveyard is a reference to the Vancouver Canucks when they were trying to find um when they were trying to find their goalie of the future and they were trying to find the guy, right?
Yeah.
And they were just going through goalies left, right, and center.
Yeah. That was quite the stretch that they had.
Yeah. Till they finally found Bobby Lou and were like, hey.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can't give an explanation as to why there's more injuries. It's just kind of a luck thing, I suppose. But it's having a pretty damn big effect on this season. And you're looking at a lot of teams that are really good towards the top of their divisions.
yeah.
Go through the standings right now and tell you. Okay, so you've got Boston, two good goalies. You have to have more than one good goalie in the National Hockey League if you're a playoff team, if you want to sustain that, because injuries can happen at any given moment of time. Toronto is second in their division.
Yeah.
Samsonov has actually not been very good, but Joseph Woll is who he is. The Leafs win primarily off their offense and by getting to overtime a lot.
But they're also running Martin Jones right now.
Yeah, which is funny enough. That might be the most embarrassing thing about that 7-0 loss for Pittsburgh was that Martin Jones had a 38 safe shutout.
Yeah.
That's
I like
bad.
Martin Jones. Come on.
He hasn't been good in years.
No, but I like Martin Jones.
Yeah,
He gets he doesn't have good stats, but he gets wins.
Yeah. Look at the Panthers right now. They're third in the division. Bobrovsky's got a 911 save percentage, a 249 goals against average. Anthony Stolarz is the backup, a 218 goals against average, 915 save percentage. They're getting good goals. New York Rangers are leading the Metro. Anything notable about them? Oh, their goalie's Igor Shesterkin. Oh, Igor Shesterkin has a 904. What the hell is going on? Oh, they also have Jonathan Quick, who turns out he's still Jonathan Quick. He's got a 920 save percentage, a 209 goals against average with 2 shutouts. He has not lost a game in regulation.
Jonathan Quick is like one of the best stories this year.
Yes.
Because he turned back the clock into like 2014 Quickie.
Yeah.
And what's even more special about it is he's doing it for the team he cheered for growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Carter Hart right now, the Flyers are second in the Metro, has a 919 save percentage.
Look at Carter.
Look at Carter go. New York Islanders, third in the division. Oh, anything notable about them? Oh, well, they have Ilya Sorokin.
Sorokin. They have the other Ilya goalie in New York.
He's got a 912 save percentage. That's pretty good. How about Semyon Varlamov, their backup? Oh, he's got a 919.
Whoa. Okay, that's shocking.
919?
Considering remember when we talked about Lou giving him that contract extension?
Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah.
For both Varley and for Lou at that age.
Yeah. Carolina, really good team. They're in a wild card spot. Underachieving. Why are they underachieving so much?
Because both of their goalies are babies, dude.
Because, yeah.
Well,
Brent,
they played because Anderson got hurt.
Andy's hurt. Ronta they put on waivers, so now their goaltenders
So
are
Rontas was so bad they had to get rid of him, so he was dropping points constantly for him. Anderson, when he was healthy, wasn't very good. So they got two babies in that, so they've
the
been
goaltenders right now for the Carolina Hurricanes: Pyotr Kochetkov,
and Yana Peretz.
Yanov Peretz.
Uh,
Both of these kids, we talk about my friend Timbo, right? Big Hurricanes fan. They're awesome. Both of these goalies are younger than than they are. Timbo's 24.
Yeah.
Like, that's bad. That's not a situation you want to put these goalies in.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So you look Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg. Anything notable about those teams?
Jake Ottinger's out for weeks.
Tough, tough break for them.
Really tough. Like, Scott Wedgwood just had to play with an e-bug as his backup.
Yeah.
Feel bad for Jordan and Taylor, even though they're having fun with it.
The West is interesting because you look at the Central, the top three teams in the Central, Dallas, Colorado, and Winnipeg, have not gotten great goaltending.
Yeah, I'm partially regretting Georgiev as much as he's still getting me points.
Yeah. Hellebuck's turned it around. He's got a 916 now. Earlier this season, he was below 900, so he's put together some good performances. So he's brought his save percentage back up, which is really helping the Jets. But Colorado and Dallas are doing well considering the fact that they're not getting great goaltending because Ottinger had a 901 and Georgiev's below 900. But they're still winning games.
Because they have guys that can shoot the lights out.
Vegas is 21-6-5. Why? Aiden Hill's got a 933.
He's also hurt, so it's the Logan Thompson show right now.
Witthouse has got a 911. What the hell, man? Dude, the Knights. How, dude, Logan Thompson was undrafted.
Yeah.
They took a fourth round pick for Aiden Hill. That is ridiculous what they've been doing with those guys.
Crazy. It's crazy, crazy.
They gave up a fourth round pick. A fourth round pick is all it cost for them to get their two goalies.
Speaking of Jordan and Taylor, I'm actually playing Jordan in fantasy this week.
Go Jordan.
Okay, cool. I'm actually leading right now.
Yeah, look at me. I'm rooting for an underdog. I'm a great guy.
The underdog that has Leon Draisaitl and Jonathan Marchessault and Tyler Toffoli, and yeah.
So Vancouver's been playing better than expected. Thatcher Demko, 921 save percentage, 230.
Thatcher's amazing, bro.
Trade that we didn't talk about a ton this offseason.
Yeah.
Address position. Casey DeSmith, 919 save percentage and a 248 goals against average.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting good goaltending all around.
They're getting great defense too.
They are. Cam Talbot, what a story.
What a story for Talbot, eh? Yeah.
Death, taxes, Cam Talbot punching way above his weight on a one-year deal.
Unfortunately, Copley's hurt right now.
Yeah. Again, more injuries, man. It's just nuts.
And it's all like weirdly longer term injuries. Like all of these goalies are going out like week to week.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
I'm curious to see what happens in the West. I think the wild card race in the West is going to be incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
There's been a lot of goaltending injuries. The Blue Jackets have actually been kind of lucky in that sense because, knock on wood, we haven't really seen anything majorly pressing for either Elvis or Spencer Martin. Tarasov just came back from injury. That was from the previous season.
Elvis was sick, so that's been the only thing, really.
Sick is an injury for me. Like, that's just...
No, illness is different, but at the same time, you put him on, like, yeah.
It's interesting. The Blue Jackets, like, with all these injuries, I'm curious to see what happens with Spencer Martin. I know they're carrying 3 goalies right now. I'm curious if we get a stretch here where Elvis and Tarasov stay healthy. I wonder what they do before the deadline with Spencer Martin. Are they going to be able to trade him for something? Because I think a team might be interested, even if it's just a fifth round pick.
Yeah.
You know, team might be interested in
Could
maybe
get something for Spence.
in a depth goalie who doesn't cost much, who can start some games in a pinch.
You could get something for Spencer, especially with the way he's been playing. And it all, at least for us, it comes back to just give your goalies some help, guys. Give your goalies some help.
And when we say give your goalies help, scoring 9 goals is pretty sick, Jake.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, isn't it?
That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is don't put them in a position where they're allowing 4 goals.
Don't put them in a position where you're going to have them allow 5 after scoring 5.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous.
Anyway, yeah, the injury bug with the goalies is weird. It's very strange because like all the starters are going down. And it's just like we knew goal scoring was up in the league to begin with.
Well, another point I want to make real quick is I'm interested to see what I know we're far away, but I'm interested to see what the deadline looks like because you don't typically see a lot of goalies moved at the trade deadline.
Right.
With how many goalie injuries there have been this season, this might be one of the biggest buyer's markets we've seen for goalies for teams that are trying to make the playoffs or make some noise in the playoffs because let's face it, I mean, you can't do it without a goalie.
No, you need a bona fide starter and you need an extremely solid backup. You need both.
You do. You do. You absolutely do. Think Vegas. Hayden Hill was not the starter heading into the playoffs.
Right.
So
that's all she wrote. It's 9-4.
Alrighty.
Big win. And you know what? We're gonna end this because we're going into a little Christmas New Year's break.
Mm-hmm.
What are you excited about? What are our goals and expectations for 2024?
For the podcast?
For the pod, for the team, for just us.
For the team, I'd like them to win some fucking games.
Yeah, please win more.
I'd have to think about us. I usually don't do Christmas. I never do New Year's resolutions because I never follow them. But I don't know. I will say, you know what I'll say? I'll say this. I'm probably gonna get some tattoos in January.
Fun. I'm spending New
That's
Year's.
my big news. That's my resolution. Get some tat. Get them in.
I need to. My resolution is to actually jot down gift ideas throughout the year and be like, "Hey, I kind of want this."
I actually did that this year.
Every Christmas, I'm like,
It helped tremendously. So.
I'm sure it does. For the show, here's a couple of big things because, like, obviously, we want to do more watch-alongs, and you and I should do one together soon.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm actually doing one coming up late January.
Yeah.
With our big rematch against Calgary. It's gonna be me and the boss man, Kyle, chilling out.
Nice.
Doing the late night watch along at 9 p.m. Eastern on the 25th. So that'll be fun. And then obviously you and I need to do a couple together.
I'd love to do one.
It would be great.
We can actually watch the game if Bally doesn't cut out.
If Bally doesn't cut out, well, I did. We could talk about the whole Diamond thing when we come back at some point because there are developments on Diamond and Amazon.
Good.
Amazon might save that sinking ship. Who knows?
Yeah.
But for us, we want to grow more. Please like the videos. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. That's
Hello, friends.
I mean, yeah. As our buddy Steve loves to say, tell all your friends. The hockey 101 one is big.
Yeah.
The guest ones are big, and we're hopefully going to be having a few more guest ones coming up soon. Because this one that we're putting up right now, We're 20 more to 150 episodes, dude. We could probably hit 150 by like some point over the next calendar year. We will.
Honestly, we'll probably hit it before the end of the season.
Do you think so?
Probably. Maybe that's
really
not having any grasp of time, but
yeah, time's a flat circle, right? It's your favorite thing to say.
we'll see.
I do really want to do something special for 150.
Yeah.
Whether that's a very special interview or, you know, maybe we could do a big live stream kind of thing.
We'll have to set up the Q&A long in advance.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get more questions.
Than the 100th.
Yeah.
I do think the route that I want to take is a player interview.
Sick.
That would be very fun. But you know,
hey, I don't think you're that good, but I love how you think. Do you imagine if we got good Branson?
it'd be fun.
It would be fun. He's a cool dude.
It'd be fun.
Hey, can you rip into the Department of Player Safety more?
Yeah.
The Department of Player Safety kind of fucking sucks, doesn't it?
What was it like to get spat on by Garnet Hathaway?
Oh god, yeah, we're going all the way back.
But yeah, we're going into 2024 with some big dreams, and please share, like, comment. That's the big way we get exposure. You got to do this. I can't be the only one sharing it around, people. You got to help me out.
We'll require you to.
We'll see y'all in the new year, everybody. Take care.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.